Yeah, the thing that I thought was going to happen actually happened. Oh, well, obviously we need a redesign. Yeah, I think it's out, isn't it? You can see what's happened. The triangle part came to the wrong part and it got caught. Look, there's a bit of dirt on there or something. Yes. And so what happened is it rotated like that, and then these two wheels lined up, yeah, and they were pretty close to the centre of gravity, and then it just fell away. It's okay because I've got the wheel. That's why you put the wheel under the chassis when you're doing a job, and it's fallen on the wheel. That's obviously a lot of weight on there, and I've got a trolley jack so I can lift it up and put it back underneath it. Yeah, because I needed to push it back. Shit. There's all this stuff falling off. Wow, that was lucky. Woof, nearly hit it. Yeah, it's just landed on the tyre. It might have I don't think it's destroyed the wheel. They're pretty strong wheels. So we just have to inspect it. But yeah, kind of fucked up a bit there, didn't I? Yeah, and I'm just wondering about the triangle as well. Maybe it's slightly offset. So you can see the way the wheels lined up, and that was what I thought might happen. If we can get a decent side view, it might show it better. Yeah, so you can see, okay, let me see. So that's obviously the contact point, right? And it's only just within the centre of gravity is obviously going to be somewhere like here. And the contact point is there, and it's too close. And so it basically tipped. Yeah, and what happens is the casters were actually turning around at the time as well, and so it created a moment that way because of the wheels were actually going around opposite directions, and so it created a moment that way, which basically just made it so that it pushed it beyond the centre of gravity. Yeah, so yeah, so it obviously needs to be wider. That's fine. I can make another one. Yeah. And also I want to see, I think that the construction I think is strong enough, although it's a bit bent, isn't it? Yeah, I can see that that's not straight. Yeah, it's kind of bent, isn't it? In fact, they're all bent, aren't they? Yeah. So obviously I need to make it wider, but I also need to make sure that I can actually fasten these on fully underneath the triangle. Yeah. And I think if I was to, because at the moment those are about, let me see, let's put it back up again. Yeah. So if I was to look, let's try and get it end on like that. Yeah, that'll do. You can see now, because now I've lined it up this, and we can see the angle is actually quite high. It's like, what, say 50 degrees? And I can take it probably as low as 30 degrees and it'll still be fine. Yeah. So I can splay that out much further, the base part, much further. And, yeah. Yeah, wowie. Oh, it's hit the radiator as well, I think. That's just a small motorbike radiator that I got for it. Yeah, and it's just held in place by something rather trivial, so yeah, it's not too bad. Yep, so I'm going to get the jack under it. We'll get it back on this. Yeah. So that I can manoeuvre it still. I mean, obviously the other thing is to weld it onto the frame or something so that it holds it, but no, I need another one. So I'll have to jack it up and then I can just roughly pull this back away from the door, because the whole point is I need to get this body down onto it, you see, and it's too close to the door now. It won't go in. Now, because look at where the wheel is and the wheel arch, so it actually needs to come back, you know, about half the width of the actual hub, the wheel hub itself, and then it should be okay. Yeah, well, you can see the mark there on the floor where it should be, so, and then that means it'll come down onto it. Yeah, fun. Wow. And it was starting to move on its own and I'm like, oh shit, because I basically flipped this over and hooked it onto a ring on here and started pulling it. And it just carried on going on its own. I'm thinking, what? It's not going downhill. And then that flipped out. And it landed on the wheel and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, the chassis is actually pretty stiff and strong. you'll probably see that that front will have lifted because it's got a whacking great cross member underneath it to keep the rigidity. Yeah, if you put a top on it, then it keeps it. But because I want the top to be open so we can access it and do batteries and stuff, which is something that I didn't think about when I was doing the design, and so I just added a cross member underneath it, which was solid. Yeah, and the guy who was welding it, Festus, he says he's done a penetrating weld, but I know the guy, he bullshits. So it'll be a hollow weld. So I'll have to redo it as well. But it works for now, so that'll be fine. Yeah, but I'm going to get this back on. Wowie.